You're listening to Scale Right Revolution, the show to follow if you're a high-achieving founder, business owner, or entrepreneur running a 7 to 8 figure company and you're ready to create your next level vision and make a bigger impact without missing out on life. I'm Tori Boats, an award-winning serial entrepreneur and the creator of an unconventional strategic advisory company where our mission is to help you revolutionize how you scale and pursue your most ambitious goals yet, while feeling lit up in your business every day. You deserve to live a fulfilling, wealthy life, balanced with family, friends, rest, and joy. So let's dive in. And before we do, hit that follow or subscribe button. Your backstage pass awaits. This is an advisory style episode. It means that I'm abandoning the typical interview format to deep dive into a challenge faced by my guest in their own business. It's your chance to peek behind the curtain and see how key decisions around growth and scaling really get made. You're going to love diving into this episode with us. Awesome. Okay, we're here with Maggie Perotin, and I'm so excited. She's my guest today, and I'm going to let you know about a little bit of her background. She helps service-based business owners scale in a way that creates freedom, building businesses that can thrive without them. She's an international coach and has nearly 20 years of leadership experience. So you'll find her online as the host of the Diamond Effect podcast, and you're a podcast listener, so get over there and listen to her on that. She's been featured on some of the network giants like USA Today, CBS, ABC, and NBC. That's so exciting. Maggie's all about smart growth that doesn't sacrifice joy. And I think that's so important. Speaking of joy, she lives in Toronto with a blended family of four kids, and she likes the outdoors, traveling, and dancing. And Maggie, that's something that we share, which is a love of dancing. So what kind of dancing?
You know what? Any, but I used to do. So I'm an immigrant to Canada. I'm originally Polish. So for many, many years, I was doing this like folk dance in a group in high school. And we sort of traveled with it. And we did a bit of contemporary, but it wasn't at the level that I see my daughter doing now, right? But ultimately, any dance. I've done a little bit of lessons of, Latino dance and ballroom dance, but anything, I think dance is amazing in a way brings you joy and you can express yourself. And I love it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I started ballet as an adult. I was young though, like 18, but still. I did ballet and jazz and hip hop and tap and breakdancing and anything I could get my hands on and get into a class. And it was my outlet. So I totally get wanting to dance and using that as what a great outlet for creativity. And
100%.
Yeah, there's just so much to it. Travel or productions, you learn a lot that you don't expect to learn about yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely share that.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to begin. This is a different kind of podcast episode that you may be listening to differently. So instead of doing a business interview style, we are going to be an advisory board, mastermind, or thought leadership, thought partnership kind of episode where we're going to bounce this idea off of each other. And we're listening in on Maggie's business and her growth edges, things that she's considering in her own business. So Maggie, will you begin with the context of where your business is today and what the purpose of the business is?
Yeah. So the purpose of the business, let's start with that. And my mission is really to empower business owners, predominantly service-based business owners, to think differently about their business and grow it in a way that's sustainable. There's so many business owners that hustle or they think that they have to, and they're working 24/7 in it thinking, I have this business, I love what I'm doing, and I need to be in it 24/7, where they miss out on living the personal part of their life. And at the same time, I understand that they're passionate and so on. So I want to help them to sort of create more of a balance or harmony, however you want to call it. And at the same time, as they're growing that business, create an asset that down the line they can sell. And many service based business owners don't think that. They're like, oh, I'm just going to fold it down and I'm going to retire, right? So they're saving, or they don't know how to do it. They love the idea, but they don't know how to do it. And I think it's, I really believe that small and medium-sized businesses are critical to the economy. They bring a lot of jobs in our communities. There is more money left when a small business makes money in the community rather than large corporation. So I want to empower these people to thrive in all aspects of their life, because then their businesses thrive. And then there's this ripple effect, right? You hope one person and then their family benefits and their employees benefit and all those things. So like, that's my mission and purpose.
No, that's fantastic. A sellable asset is definitely something to consider. And I think you're right about a lot of service-based businesses don't think of that, or they think of that later as they're starting to think about getting out, and what could they have been doing the years before to set their business up. So very smart aspect.
Yeah, they can be doing that much earlier, while enjoying life, and then be more ready rather than, oh, in 3 years, if I run X, what do I need to do? And like big panic, right?
So now I'm like sweating. Okay, so now we're going to move into, where do you see your business going, and what is the idea or opportunity or question that you have? We started a bit with, like, ahead of the episode, looking at strategic decisions, because there are so many options that business owners consider. It can be overwhelming, distracting, all the things, chaos. So share with us where you're looking to go and a little bit about what that question or opportunity is.
Yeah. So where I am right now, so there's of course where I want to go, like short term and long term. So where I am right now, I offer group coaching for starting business owners, for business owners who are, just growing. Their income is somewhere between 4 figures to barely 6 figures. And so I have a group set up. And then anybody who is at 6 figures and above, I have one-on-one. Okay. So that's where I am right now. My long-term vision, I would love to be this go-to practical business academy for service-based businesses who very often start their businesses for the love of what they do, how they help their clients, right? So I'm a professional organizer. I love to organize. I'm a stylist. I love to style. I'm a therapist. I love to be a therapist, but don't have business background. And they realize at some point that that's stopping them. But then at the same time, they're busy, they're running business. They don't necessarily want to go to business school and all those things, a lot of those things that are not practical, right? So my long-term vision is to create this sort of academy for the business owner that is very practical, that helps them achieve the goals that they have in a very practical manner, but also fills that gap of business skills that they're missing. And that's what's stopping them. So that's like long term.
Is it like almost like a replacement for an MBA or school?
Kind of like that. Yeah. Okay. Right? A replacement, like instead of going to MBA, and a lot of MBAs are really, I've done an MBA, right?
Me too. I'm like, oh, did it really help me be an entrepreneur? Well,
right. So most of the MBAs are really corporate driven. There is a little bit of entrepreneur there, but there's a lot of corporate driven. And when you're an entrepreneur and small business, application of that can be challenging. Let's just call it that way, right? So it's almost like an entrepreneurial MBA, if we want to call it like an MBA. Like if that could be really focused on entrepreneurs, very practical, minimal theory, just enough to understand, right, where we're coming from, why we're doing things we're doing, and really applicable to the point where, okay, I'm learning something I can implement like that day in my business, right? So that's my vision.
Okay. How far away do you want that to be a focus?
Well, I would say maybe within 5 years. I don't like to put like 10 years. You never know what happens in 10
Yeah.
years. But within the next 5 years, that would be great.
And is it when we think about the
Yeah.
coaching aspect of your
Yeah.
business versus this, is it a move to that, or is it a separate offering, or almost like a division or separate business where there's the coaching pieces is different than the school?
Yeah, no, I think it's like a merging of that. So it's more a transformation into that because I the challenge with traditional school is you learn and then you have to figure out how to apply on your own, and you go back and you're busy and you're like, oh, I don't know how to apply, right? The power of coaching is that the coach help you actually apply. It supports you, it's done with you, right? And I see that in the results of my clients, where when I coach them, they get results, right? And not because only I teach them and I help them develop certain knowledge, but because I'm there with them while they're developing the skill. It's kind of like really having a pro athlete, having a coach,
Hmm.
learning the skill set and getting better and better, whatever sport they're doing, right? So it's very powerful. So I would like it to be together. Now, I might not be the coach who will coach everybody, right? If we're scaling that,
Yeah.
I might need to hire and train coaches and so on. But I like to see the progress and the results. I don't want to just teach. Teaching doesn't fulfill me, because
Okay.
teaching, I know somebody will just take the knowledge, but I have no idea whether they're implementing or not. And that's not fulfilling for me. What's fulfilling for me is seeing the person implement and grow and make incredible results. And that's, for me, I'm so proud. I feel amazing when I see that.
Yeah. My little tears are coming. I don't know why. I get excited too, I suppose. Do you see in the work that you're doing with your clients now,
Mhm.
do you see that you're already sharing some of this knowledge naturally in the way that you coach them? Is it an evolution? And because you have clients that are at different stages,
Yeah.
the 5-figure versus the
Yeah.
6-figure stage, maybe emerging businesses,
Yeah.
or some are perpetually small on purpose.
Yeah.
So I don't mean that they all have to be beginners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, how do you see this playing into what you're doing now, and the point at which they would come into your world for the coaching?
You mean at point where would they come in the future?
Um, Let me ask it this way. Do they start with are they looking for the education, and they start with the education and then coaching as part of that? Um, and or is it something that they kind of do together? Meaning,
Yeah, I
are
think
they
it's
learning
something
and
they
then
do
coaching with
together,
it?
that do the parallel, right? So
Okay.
I guess the way I'm doing it now and I see it works is that I teach you only what you need to get you to the next level and
Okay.
prepare you for the long term. And I know that because, of course, we have a very good relationship, right? So then you only learn kind of what you need and then you apply, right? So I see it that way, because like I'm a very, operations is my thing, and I'm very a person who likes efficiency. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like, personally, even in my own life, waste time to learn something that I might use and I might never use, or do something that I don't know how. So I always think about my clients, like, how can I give them the knowledge that they need right now in order to achieve the next goal, or prepare them for whatever the long term, and then with strategies and help them implement it right away.
So
So it would have to be together.
how do you see what you're doing today laying the foundation for um, this like entrepreneurial MBA?
Mhm.
Is it just that you want to codify and um, make it repeatable, what you're already
Yeah.
teaching, or is this new curriculum that you want to kind of put your brain on?
So I would say, it's a great question. I think like if I went to that, let's just call it academy, right? Or entrepreneur MBA, and I wanted to help entrepreneurs at different stages, then with my current group, I'm almost there in a way where I know what I need to codify. I haven't fully done it. And that's like, I've been thinking about the short term goal of maybe starting that next year and then kind of having that curriculum and then support. Whereas with my one-on-one, I think I would still need a little bit more runway with the one-on-one clients to determine how would I codify, would it have to be? Because right now I have a big span of clients from like early 6 figures to 7 figures, right? So like their challenges are different. So that would definitely require more work in thinking about, do I need to break it down in certain stages of their growth, right? Certain sizes and how it would look like. But yeah, like that, codifying that, creating a system that then helps people learn faster and then helps me, let's say, train the coaches to understand it and then support people in implementing that. For sure.
So cool that you said stages, because as you were talking right before this, I wrote down stages of business, stages of size, like what applies to different ones. So totally on the same page. I want to check in.
Yeah.
Have you thought a lot about this yet, or is this kind of a first brainstorm for this particular idea?
I think it's a first brainstorm. I've had this vision, like, but it's been very distant, and I think it's the first brainstorm that I'm doing with you for that long-term idea, which is kind of cool.
It's so cool. That's my favorite point. I love it. So, yeah, I get excited. Are you starting to see things sort of come together?
Yeah. I definitely see now, so because the way I've been thinking short term for it is like, okay, I have an idea to let's just call it codify the group. And then I'm like, oh, I'm still one-on-one, but at some point maybe I want to do a mastermind, but it's been separate, right? Whereas now as we're talking, I'm like, no, this is actually together. Now, of course, within that, there might be different offers, right? Depending on the stage of the business, the client that's coming in. But now I see it more holistically together rather than these two separate routes.
Yeah, that's important. If you guys see me, if you're on the video version of this on YouTube and you see me looking down a lot, I think by writing words. So that's what I'm doing. All right. So I think we have a really interesting revelation here, which is that it's no longer a separate thing that you're designing, and building. It's now what you're already doing. Now the next step really in that, the way I see it, and tell me if you agree, is almost deciding where you want to start with the stages or levels. It's getting that outline, almost like a book outline, but you're building an encyclopedia set, right?
Yeah.
Which book of that set what does the set look like? What is the flow chart or whatever? Where do I start? And because you have such a disparate group of folks that you work with, I wonder, what would it be like if you were to pick your favorite stage of the current clients you have, concentrate on doing some lead gen of that particular stage to get more of a mass for that. I don't mean like 50,000 people, but
I get it. Yeah.
And kind of playing with that group with doing this. How does that feel?
Yeah. No, that it's actually great suggestion. It is a great suggestion. Because you're right. Sometimes when you're spread in too many different stages, then it's great for me because I love variety. Like I'm a Sagittarius, I love variety, but I don't think, as you say, it's not great in concentrating certain stage to quickly see the patterns and say, oh, this is how my academy would work. Right. So for that stage, this would be that book, right? So I
Yeah.
agree with you. That's actually pretty good idea to do it at those stages.
It 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 would it's almost like it can be very overwhelming to be
Yeah,
like, oh, I have to create this whole big new thing
yeah,
when
yeah,
really you could be creating it now as you go.
mhm,
And talk about sellable asset.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
if you were just to build one book of that whole stage,
yeah,
if you were to concentrate on just one stage of your business and get that to a point wherever you would be in I guess, the life cycle of
mhm,
almost like education evolution of an entrepreneur.
mhm,
You could start
mhm,
early on, you could go in the middle, you could go in the end.
yeah, yeah,
And with what you do with selling, or not with selling necessarily, but just posing the idea to service business owners. Have you thought about selling your business? Have you thought about building it as an asset? Do you even know where
yeah,
to start? Like that could be where you begin your curriculum. It could also be emerging businesses and purposefully helping emerging businesses that know that they want that as their endpoint. What does it look like to start with that end in mind?
info.
And then as they get there, build that curriculum. There's so many places you
Mhm.
could start. Like I have chills. It's so exciting. And I think this is where the options for business owners to consider that can be overwhelming
Right,
and distracting.
exactly.
I think this is where it comes in is, oh, but where do I start?
Mhm, mhm.
So first, how did that land? And second, if that is kind of what you're thinking, where would you start? Where would you want to start? Where is your heart kind of pulling you?
Yeah, so see, that's the thing. Where do I start? I definitely love it. So I think I don't know if I would want to start in the beginning emerging businesses because I do not that I don't know, I actually know a lot about that. But I don't think many businesses, especially service based, start that thinking like, oh yeah, I just want to grow it and sell it. I think that realization potentially comes later if it comes. And just based on my experience working with them.
Yeah.
So I think a good start would be in that stage where they either are about to start hiring a team or they have a very small 3 to 5 people team. So they're gaining some momentum, right? They've gained some momentum and now they're realizing, okay, I'm still involved in every aspect of my business. Like business cannot run without me. I am ambitious. I want to grow it, but now I'm scared because I think it means more time, more work, which I don't have. And then I feel stuck in that. I don't know how. And then very often at that point, they realize, yeah, there's some gaps in my skill set. Like there is some things that I don't have.
Yeah.
And this is a great point to actually start setting your business as an asset. This is a great start to start systemizing, putting the processes in place, creating the culture because you don't have a big team yet. This is you can start hiring and so on. So I think that's great point to even give them the idea you can actually through system and processes not just like improve the quality of your business and allow it to scale but and live a life as well but also that can lead to you being able to sell it on the line if you want it.
Yeah, I think that's an important
Yeah.
point is, I've had a customers, like I'm thinking of Jordan. You
Mhm.
guys don't know Jordan, but let's just say she's in the health and wellness
Mhm.
industry.
Mhm.
She's at a point in her business where she is looking to grow. She has a great life.
Mhm.
She's built enough systems that it's easy to get clients and deliver.
Mhm.
She's got team members in the back end, but she's still the delivery person.
Right.
And when she thinks about, um, I want to grow to the next level, I want to go and I don't want to increment from 1 million to 2 million to 3 million. I want to
Yeah.
go to 10 million
Yeah.
because I don't want to be doing this for 15 years. I
Mhm.
want to see my new vision right now.
Mhm.
And she has no idea what it looks like. She's never been She's never been in a larger business. She's never been in corporate. She's never, she just kind of started this for herself,
Yeah.
hasn't had formal training. And that can feel so overwhelming.
It can.
Yes. And I think that your idea for building those systems as you go with the option to kind of enjoy your life and not feel overwhelmed, and the secondary option of, and you can sell it because we're building it purposefully, is so important.
Yeah. And you know, as you say, like very often people just don't know how to go about it, and they don't even, as you know, like there's sometimes they don't even consider like, oh yeah, I could sell it down the line, because they didn't see it as an option. So yeah, I think that would be a good place to start in that stage, right?
Yeah, that stage.
Yeah.
Okay, I've steered us down the path. I feel like, oh, I'm steering us down the path of you're going to build curriculum that helps them sell. But let me check in, because I know that you have that as a piece, like an option in what you can help your clients do. But I don't want to be influencing you in your thought in this pattern, because it's just forming that's what your curriculum is going to be on. So I want to take a step back personally and say, okay, how does it feel with where you're going now, and what is it looking like? Like, what do you think about your next step, so to speak?
So next step, like in that area, right? Like just what we discussed.
Yeah.
So next step, I would go into like brainstorm. Not that we haven't brainstormed, but actually I like to like talk things through and then go back on my own and sort of write things out. What it would look like, you know, narrow down the stage, what they would need, and so on. And then short term decide, like as you say, okay, maybe I just create an offer, whether it's a one-on-one and so on, for that particular niche. And just focus on that to bring people in, to sort of start working with them, see the patterns, see the components of that one book. Encyclopedia. I like that analogy. You know, even if it's just next year, right? Doing it for next year. And then from there go, okay, now we're creating that first part of the academy with all that data, all that, you know, knowledge, and then turn the one-on-one into the first part of the academy, I guess. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes. We talked about a lot. I want to invite you to take a breath with me for a moment. Just like, just kind of let that out. If you were to reflect on the end state of this academy, what outcome, direction, or curriculum comes to mind as the most exciting?
Outcome, direction. I don't know if I'm fully understanding, so I'll reply the way I understand. But if you don't, then what's most exciting for me is, that can be very, okay, I would just say it the way I think. Like, what's most exciting to me, seeing a large number of people in a room growing, having success, like truly. So, and just saying like, hey, I am helping them do that through my team, right? Because at this point, I'm not doing everything alone, and I'm not delivering everything alone, but we're helping them succeed. We're actually empowering them to do what they want in a way that maybe they didn't think was possible.
I wonder, because we're talking about a set of books, if you have this entry point, like here's where they are in their business. You were very clearly articulated that. And here are some possible paths that they could choose to go down
Yeah.
directions. And the general path of everyone coming in is scaling,
Yeah.
growing in a way that allows them to not be the only one
Yeah.
delivering or
Yeah.
over or pressure
Yeah.
or um no, I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, they're all coming in going
Yeah.
down this path.
Yeah.
And then they kind of diverge into their interest. I'm
Uh-huh.
interested in staying the course and selling. I'm interested in succession through my family. Like I want to
Mhm.
hand my business down
Yeah.
to the next generation.
Yeah.
I just want to go to retirement and close my business. Like there's almost different outcomes as they
Yeah.
start and continue.
Yeah.
I see that as a future, maybe the complexity once you get your initial offer cohort going to
Yeah.
have a more structured not criteria, but the things that you're working on them with, have that be more structured in that middle part of the business when they're just bringing on team. And
Yeah.
then as they go, they're going to have different interests. And it's almost like the group will start to determine and help you determine what do I create and develop next? What's the
Right.
next criteria?
Right.
Or you do this again. Well, now as you, Maggie, want to really explore this particular path
Yeah.
in the next stage. So building a cohort out of what you already have to do that and build that next piece of the academy.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. And I can see that because, very often in business, that's what happens, right? Your clients tell you, this is what I want next. Can you give it to me? Like, I like
Yeah.
working with you and so on, right? Like, very often that comes.
Hmm.
Um, so that's a very good point.
All right. So we have here so far, we have some revelations. It's not a separate business divide. You can do
Mhm.
it with your current business, like start to
Yeah.
create this academy curriculum. Um, you've noticed that you don't want to start at the very beginning emerging businesses because they don't really have the idea for scaling. They don't have a need for it. And you really bring a strength there with your
Mhm.
operations,
Mhm.
the way you think about operations, efficiency, improving things in the business, in the back end, and even in the front end of the
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
And we haven't even touched on team. I know you help people with teams.
Yeah.
So bringing that piece into it and your experience there gives you that starting point. And then um, even your next step, which it might be brainstorming, but I think
Mhm.
that brainstorming is really about getting that group and that offer together and
Yeah.
seeing if that sales, like seeing how that feels and being very intentional about what you want to do with that group, which yes, you do group coaching now, but
Yeah.
instead of divergent
Yeah. Yeah.
stages, you have
Yeah.
a
Just,
solo stage.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's brainstorming. I agree. Brainstorming would be more on the offer, that initial offer, what it would look like, and then going and testing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel how it's different, the brainstorming activity or next step now versus earlier?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
feel any different?
It does feel like it's more, focused.
Yeah, I find that we're all creative. And when someone says you're creative, bring your creativity to work. And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what that means. But if you can give your creativity a box, almost like a container,
Mhm.
and say, I want you to unleash yourself around this particular thing, whether it's a
Yes.
problem to solve or a focus.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, amazing things can happen.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And constrained, and it's proven, right? Scientific that constrained
Mm,
helps creativity. Right? When you constrain yourself rather than let yourself loose on everything that you could be doing and all the ideas, when you constrain that to whatever it's important to you, to whatever
mm.
you decide, that actually helps creativity.
Yeah. I think so too. because it gives you something to focus. It gives your brain
Yeah.
a problem to solve
Yeah. Yeah.
versus enjoying life as things come into your viewpoint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
have you ever had an idea where it feels like it's almost like a butterfly that comes into your peripheral vision and escapes everyone's, and you're trying to get work done, and this stupid thing keeps bothering you,
Yeah.
but it really is something that if you turn and pay attention to it, like, have you ever had that happen to you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have. I can't think of the specific example, but I usually write it down. I actually wait here.
Yep.
There was an idea. What was it? Oh, okay. So that was just more of a strategy, tactical idea for next year. Like, oh, what if I do this type of thing? Right. So I usually write it down and I let it set. Um, and then, like with this one, because it's a more of a tactical idea for next year, I will go back to it when I do a bit of planning for next year's strategic planning, because that's at least it will allow me to consider the idea. Because sometimes,
Mm.
like, we have, oh, let's get distracted, right? I would chase this idea in front of, like, no, no, no. I decided to focus on whatever I'm doing now, so that I write those down.
Yeah. I I like that. I know you have so at the time of this recording, we're coming to the end of the year. We're in October, and Maggie is going to be playing with an idea of doing a public vision board, fun co-working. And I love that idea. I know you may never do it again, but the idea of looking back at a list of ideas you've had or brainstorming about things to consider going forward into the next year, can be really powerful, because I think sometimes, and I know in corporate planning, we think about what is the growth target I need to hit next, which is usually year over year growth. It's
Mhm.
5%, 10%, 15%, whatever the growth is that you've
Mhm.
done before. Corporate wants you to do it again and better. And that becomes the guiding force or the direction that you take the business, which is just growth for growth's sake.
Mhm.
And it doesn't give you an ability to take a step back and imagine what your future can be, imagine the change that you can make. And I think that's often missed, where in small business or in privately owned firms, we get
Mhm.
the luxury of really doing that for ourselves.
Yeah.
And having that list that you showed us is, kind of powerful. It reminds us to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I was just even reflecting recently. I was like, yeah, I started the business to do things the way I want and do things that I enjoy. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard sometimes and that you're not enjoying 100% of the time. This is not that. But if you have an idea or you want to switch things up and so on, you can do that, right? It's, as you say, the growth for the sake of growth in the corporate world that can become so soul draining. And I've lived that. We both been in a corporate world. I've burnt out in a corporate world, that I don't want that in my business, right? Like, so
Yeah.
reminding yourself, yes, of course, I have big visions and so on, but how I do it, to an extent, it matters. That journey that I'm going through to create that goal matters to me. So,
Yeah, it's funny. People used to say, "Stop and smell the roses. You're going too fast," and that never appealed to me. But the journey, meaning how you're feeling every day as you do your work, that's what's important.
mhm,
And it's all, I think that's often lost in I don't know if they're called idioms, but whatever those things are called, where stop and smell the roses, those little sayings. I think that's where we don't really get what the saying is about.
yeah.
And you bring it up beautifully, which is to stop and make sure you're doing it on purpose the way you want,
Mhm,
and you get to change your mind. I think folks will often not commit to a big goal because it feels overwhelming or scary, or
mhm,
they don't want
mhm,
to destroy what they've done, but then they don't ever get to feel that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And they forget, you can always change your mind. I think
Yeah.
that was a lesson that I really had to learn. Oh, I don't have to be married to an idea and master it in order to learn that it was the wrong direction anymore.
Yeah. 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 I think it happens to all of us, right? It happens to me. I coach my clients saying, you can set a goal, you can commit to it, because you have to commit to a goal to even have a chance to achieve it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's not written in stone. You can change that if in the pursuit of it, you discover that maybe that wasn't the goal that I wanted. I thought it was, but then in the pursuit of it, and I'm giving it my all and so on, I want it, can always change your mind.
Okay. So as you mentioned culture early on, and I want to take what you just said and kind of stretch it out. When you think about serving 50,000 people through your program, I think that was the number, and having other coaches to support your clients and your business, what does that look like?
I don't know if 50,000 people was a number. It's a scary number, but maybe that should be my goal.
That's your new number. It's 50,000.
Okay, that's my new number. Okay, 5 years from now, let's keep it in 5. 50,000 people. The culture. And given that I haven't given it that much thought, but I would just take it from what's important to me and what I love. Well, respect is like first. Okay, so that's always respect of the other human being, of their goals and what they want, and their ideas, their innovation, and that comes towards the clients, but also towards my own team members. Like I always loved, in my own corporate world, to help my team members like bring their ideas, bring their things to what they thought was good. And I always was surprised what amazing ideas they would come up with, where he's like, oh, that's so good, I never thought of it. So having that culture in my company and helping that clients instill that, and always think, yes, we're there as coaches or experts to support the clients, but they also have knowledge and experience where we bring that out, and together, like, that's when the magic happens. So that's first. So with the respect comes also like the innovation and growth. Growth is important to me. And of course, with Ask Academy helping clients scale, that growth comes, but it's not necessarily just growth in numbers, like in money, right? But it's growth in the skill set, in how we think about things, growing as a leader, as a human being. My core belief is you cannot outgrow your business, meaning you need to grow as a leader first of your business in order for the results, like tangible money results, to catch up, right? That doesn't. So that growth, that's what it means. Another thing would be service. So in service to our clients, serving the communities that we are in and our clients are in. So service, giving back. I find myself very lucky throughout my life, and I always been grateful to people who helped me and so on. We're never achieving anything alone. So there's that giving back and service. And fun. And fun, having fun. Because business can, we get so, especially when we're ambitious and highly achieving, right? Which I am, and my clients are. I'm sure, Tori, you are as well. Mm-hmm. So we can lose sight of it, and we can be so focused on achieving the goals, achieving a goal, that we forget to pause and smell the roses, or even laugh and have fun as we go. So not forgetting that, having fun would be important.
How do you, as you think about the values that you're instilling, how do you see your role evolving? And maybe we take that 5-year view first, and then pull it back to a year from now.
a year from now.
So are you still delivering
I'm
to the
definitely
client?
delivering, but not 100%.
Hmm.
So I would start bringing and figuring out, yeah, what type of support and other coaches would I need to deliver. So I am involved a year from now. Realistically, I probably be majority of it involved, but with support.
I mean, if you go out to that final kind
Yeah.
of vision where you have the team,
Yeah.
uh, how do you? I can see that you would. It seems like you'd be now their coach, investing in the coaches that and their evolution as leaders in your company.
Yes. So
But
then they can support the clients.
some people that's the role they want to have. That's their nurturing role. That's where their coaching takes them. And other folks want to hire that in, and they see themselves still creating curriculum or being in touch with a subset of their clients, or even still others want to kind of live beyond or work beyond their business, which
Mhm.
is thought leadership, being the head of a nonprofit, or really focusing on a charitable contribution, or
Mhm.
starting another business.
Mhm.
Maybe it's their second or fifth. So there's so many different ways that you
Yeah.
can grow in your role. Which of those or something I didn't mention feels like a right fit for you?
Right now, and that might change, talking about changing your mind, you never know.
Yes.
But right now, definitely I see myself empowering my team members to help the clients. If anything, still developing like thought leadership together, brainstorming on curriculums, being involved in one way or another. I don't know to what extent, but that. And if anything, like I have this, definitely I would love to do some events, whether it's once a year, whether it's things. So like being involved in that and maybe participating, being a little bit more with the clients, maybe during the events, maybe not in like the day to day. So that's where I'm seeing myself right now. I might have ideas 5 years down the line, but for now,
Yes. And for the listener, the reason I ask Maggie that question is, as overachievers as I am, and she mentioned she is as well, we can hone in on a goal, an ambitious goal that's a project, and go full steam without considering our own identity and how we fit into that. And we just kind of fall into one of the roles
Mhm.
and forget that it's not de facto. That might not be the right word, but it's not the given that
Yeah.
that's what has to happen. We get to choose. And
Mhm.
I find a lot of technical owners, like I advise technical
Mhm.
business owners, and they are programmers
Mhm.
or rocket scientists or some kind of inventor at heart.
Mhm.
And now they have a company and they're mired in management. And I
Mhm.
have one guy who's a cryptologist,
Yeah.
and he bought another business to do a training arm, and now he's mired in the merger and not knowing what to do and personnel issues, and he thinks that he has to have that as his next role
Mhm.
when that's not the case. And in
Yeah.
fact, because he bought another business, he's got employees and leadership that he can bring in to take over some of those roles, and he never even thought of it. So I find it's important to
Mhm.
consider your own identity. And so, Maggie, you've played along with that very well. Thank you. Because your identity, you get to choose and change your mind and evolve with the company and evolve what service and what your role gets to be with your new team, because your team
Mhm.
is going to surprise you
Yeah.
with,
100%.
whatever
100%.
skills they bring and
Yeah.
interest they bring
Oh,
to
yeah.
enrich the pot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you can never predict, right? That's why
Yes.
staying sort of open to that, yeah, like that can evolve, that can change is so important, and not like locking yourself completely and it has to be that way or highway
Mhm.
thing, right? Because of that, as your business grows and your team, you never know what they will bring, and that the value that they will unlock in a way in your business for sure.
All right. As we get toward the end of our episode, I want to check in again. First, we're going to take a breath because I'm excited. So let's just.
Yeah.
Okay. And as we're now grounded and kind of calm, what stands out to you as the most surprising thing that you kind of learned about this new vision you have?
So, couple of things. One is just thinking of it as a one piece, cohesive, like with certain parts, right? And not like these two separate paths that I've been thinking just based on my offering right now. So that was a great revelation. The second, just you helping me narrow down, okay, where do I start? Which is the hardest part.
It's the hardest part.
So that was great. And then thinking about it or just even expressing it, yeah, like where do I see myself? What's my role, or how do I see my role in 5 years? Being open to it potentially being a bit different, but like having at least a vision for that. I think those were the three most powerful pieces.
Excellent. And what are you going to do as a next step? Like, what can you feel comfortable? Commitment is hard, especially after a brainstorm, because there's the vulnerability period afterward where you're like, oh, did I just commit to something? So I don't mean that. I mean, what is the next almost journal exercise, thought exercise, or action, or just going out for a walk kind of thing that you want to do to solidify what we talked about and to come up with a game plan?
So definitely offer. So that like that first offer, to think through that and then like think through, journal, kind of create something, right? Like the first draft of the offer.
Oh, I love that because it's so concrete. It went from thinking about it, brainstorming on it. I'm going to have a first draft of an offer that can make this thing go forward. It's very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank
you for bringing it out for me.
It's my favorite thing to do. So thank you for having fun on my podcast with me because it's like candy.
A lot of
All right. So we have put a bow on this conversation, but we're not done. I would love to know, what can the listener do to stay in your world, to learn more about you, to take this journey with you on what this offer ends up evolving into? Like, what can they do to get in your world next?
Yeah. So social media, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn under my name, Maggie Perotin, or you can just, check the links on my website, stairwaytoleadership.com. I will probably talk about it in my podcast, so you can tag along in my podcast. And Tori, by the way, if you are going to share with me this recording, I will put it as an episode in my podcast. So that'll be great. So those areas, I'll try to kind of unravel and share my thoughts, and as the journey progresses.
That would be fun. And guys, that's the host. She's the host of the Diamond Effect podcast.
Yeah.
So get over there. And I'll have links, of course, in the show notes. So you guys don't have to worry if you're driving. We will get these things out to you. You can come back and press that button. All right. Well, thank you, Maggie. It's been fabulous having you on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you, Tori, for having me. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. I didn't know what to expect, but I have to say I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
It's an experiment, as always. I'm always doing experiments, so it was awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks.
So this episode took us down an unexpected avenue. I didn't think we would end up where we did with Maggie, because as you think about building that sellable asset in your business, I guess my takeaway for you is not to worry if you didn't plan it that way from the start. There's not this late period where, oh, I didn't plan it from the start, so I'll never be able to do it. I think sometimes we can feel really bogged down in our businesses, and we start to think there's no way to make a change or pivot or even to clean up what you already have. Because as you've as you're kind of working through it, it can be a daunting process to think about all the work that you have to document and codify and put into a process that can be repeatable and trained to other people. But remember that not every buyer wants a complete system. That buyer might want your list, or they may want to understand a particular avenue of your business, or they might want to open up in a location where you've expanded to, or a whole region. There are so many different growth levers that you can pull. Even licensing materials that you create through your business is a form of growth and can become that IP basis for your sellability in your business. When we look at Maggie, she wanted to create this legacy type of event in her business to bring in other coaches and to have a methodology and to really codify what she does in her work and her work with her clients, and create this university type of atmosphere to train other coaches on her methodology. And that has so many different pathways, both into that model and out of that model, who the clients are that she's going to be serving through that. And we looked at the different levels. Can you think about different levels of clients within your own business? And it could be that they're at particular points within their journey in their own company or their own life. It could also mean that they're going after different types of work. So it doesn't have to be a maturity kind of model for you to have segments of your own clients. So take a look at what you want to, I guess the path and the avenue that you want. Is sellable, building a sellable asset, something that you're even interested in? Do you plan to maintain equity in your company even after you do a succession plan or an exit? These are all the kinds of concepts that you can work with and you could get an advisor's help with. Those are some of the things that I do. Maggie also coaches in leadership coaching, and there are so many different avenues for help to think through these ideas and to not only think through the idea, but helping making those big decisions and building a game plan as you go forward, and then support through the execution to make sure that the actions and the further decisions that you are creating align with that bigger vision. Because so often the entrepreneur can fall back into those old habits and kind of lose track of that momentum that they were going for. All right, I will talk to you in another episode.